Thank you for joining us on this Nadex webinar. Today we're going to be covering the HTML5 charts available on the Nadex trading platform. During this brief presentation, we're going to cover the basic navigation, everything from launching a chart, how to set it up, customize it, find the tools, and setting up timeframes, as well as trading from the charts. Once you've logged into the Nadex platform, on the left-hand side you'll find your markets. In the markets window, once you've selected the market you'd like to trade, directly to the right of the contract name in the charts column, you'll find the binary ladder chart. Simply click on the stair step icon and this will launch the chart. Along the top, you'll see on the upper right hand corner a series of 4 arrows. This will expand your chart to full screen. Simply left click. If you'd like to return it to normal size, click the 4 arrows. Then it'll return to the original size. As with any window in a browser, you can also put your cursor on the edge. When you see the arrows, you can click and drag, reshape, resize it how you wish. Next to the 4 arrows, you'll see a box icon. This is pop-out functionality. This allows you to pop the chart out of the platform. For instance, if you're using multiple monitors, you'd like to open up multiple charts and have them displayed on 2 or 3 or however many different monitors you're using. This is the pop-out functionality. To close the chart, simply click on the X and the chart will close. I'm going to go ahead and expand this back to full size. Once in the chart, by left click and dragging, I can move the chart left, right, up or down. If I'd like to open up white space on the chart, I simply click and drag left and I'll open up white space for further technical analysis. On the price axis, by left clicking and dragging up and down, you can change the vertical aspect of the chart. This is helpful if you're taking a look back in time. Maybe you have more data on the chart. You can simply scroll down, scroll up, and as you scroll up, you'll see that all of the strikes become visible. If you would like to take a look farther back in time, along the bottom you'll see a time horizon. By left clicking and dragging on the arrow, you can open up more time frame on the chart. And again, if you go to the price axis, as you get more time, you might need to change the vertical aspect of your chart. Another tip which can be very useful, rather than using that time horizon at the bottom, if I simply use the wheel of my mouse, if I scroll away from myself, it will bring in a zoom on the chart. If I scroll towards myself, it zooms out from the chart. To find tools, left click anywhere on the chart. You'll now notice at the bottom of the screen where I had the time horizon previously, I have a set of tabs. This is where you'll find all of your tools on the chart. The first tab is resolution. This is where you'll change the time frame of your chart. Anything from 1 day down to a tick. I currently have it set at a 5-minute chart. Next to the resolution are the types. You can choose from candlestick, line, high-low open close, also known as a bar chart. You can change it to mountain view. We'll go back to candlestick. All of these charts are also fully customizable. I do this by moving to the left, clicking on customize. Say for example red and green aren't my favorite colors for my candles. Maybe I can't see them as clearly. By clicking on the color palette, I'll change this to blue. Click done for the line. Go back to the color palette, click done. And now I can see that my candlestick chart has changed. If I do customize any of the tools and I'd like to move them back to their original settings, we go to customize, click reset to defaults, and you have the original default setting. Next are the indicators. By clicking on the indicators tab, on the left hand side you'll see a listing of the indicators available. By left clicking and dragging up, you can reveal all of the indicators. Left click and drag down. I'm going to go ahead and add a couple of indicators to the chart. I'll select the RSI and a MACD. Once I've selected my indicators, they've now appeared on my chart. I can also customize all of these indicators. One quick note, if you'd like to open up more real estate, perhaps the indicator's a little big, find the box with the 3 lines and just left click and drag. To close an indicator, remove it from your chart, the flag on the left-hand side, just click that X and the indicator will be removed from your chart. To customize the indicators, click on the name of the indicator where you see it on that flag, and here you can adjust the parameters. So for example, perhaps my fast exponential moving average I want set to a 5. If I want to change the color, again I click on Style, and similarly to the chart with the color palette, I just select the colors I'd like, and once I've set it up how I wish, I click Done. Going back to the Tools tab, the next tab is Drawings. So here I'll find things like trend lines, point-to-points, fib retracements and extensions, GAN-FAN, GAN lines, a whole suite of drawing tools. Whenever I select a drawing tool, and I'll just click on point-to-point, it appears in the middle of my chart. Here I can simply click and drag so I could move my trend line, my point-to-point line, wherever I wish. I can also customize this trend line. Again, once it's selected, I'll click off, and let me go to the end here. When a drawing tool is selected, you can see that it has circles on the end that you use to manipulate it as far as lengthening it, moving it up and down, left to right. By clicking Customize, here I can change the color, thickness of the line, simply click Apply. If I'd like to duplicate the line, once it's selected, I just click Duplicate, and it's as easy as that, and from there I can move it as I wish. If I want to delete a drawing tool, simply click Delete. Once I have my chart set up as I wish, perhaps I have different strategies, different indicators that I use for more or less volatile times, I move to the Layouts tab. Here's where I can save my layouts. So once I have my screen set up exactly as I'd like, simply click on Save As. From here, simply enter the layout name, whatever you'd like to call it. We'll just call this Webinar Test, and click Save. Now when you load your charts, you'll be able to select whatever template. If you set a default template, whatever the last template used, all the charts will open up in that manner. Let's say, for instance, that I close out my indicators accidentally, and I'd like to bring them back. I go to the Layouts tab again, click Apply, select the one we just labeled Webinar Test, and click Apply, and my indicators are back at whatever settings and customization I included. If I'd like to delete any of my layouts, click Delete, select from the list, and then click Delete. On the Show tab, this is where you can select what is shown on the screen. On the far left, you'll see Data tab. If you notice my cursor as I scroll across, right, I just have a crosshair. If I choose to show the data, it's now going to show me the data for that particular candle or bar. It's going to show me the high, low, open, close, as well as last traded. Also on the indicators, I'll see the flags. So for example, if I look down and wanted to see what the RSI was at any particular time, or what the MACD was representing, those flags will also be shown under the data. Another very helpful tool in the Show tab, let's say for example I have my charts annotated, I have my indicators up, but I just want to get a fresh look at price. Rather than removing all of my drawing tools, deleting them, or removing my indicators where I'd have to add them all back, I can just choose not to show them. This doesn't delete anything, I'm just choosing not to view it. When I'd like them to come back, simply choose to show them again. On the far right of the Tools tab is where you can set your price on the indicative underlying. Meaning, would you like to look at the ask, the bid, the mid price, which is very helpful for currencies as there's no central exchange on currencies, or last traded. And you can select that again from the far right tab in the Tools tab. Let's go ahead and clean up this chart a little bit, and we're going to take a look at trading from the chart. I'm going to go ahead and delete this drawing tool. Again, I selected the drawing tool. I'm just going to click delete. I'm going to move to the vertical axis and show all of the strikes. Along each strike, you'll see a red box on the bottom and a green box on top. By clicking the red box with the bid size in there, it'll open up an order ticket to sell. Click cancel. If I click the blue box, it will open up an order ticket to buy. Now I can change these in the ticket, but by simply clicking on the box, I choose my direction. If I think the market's going up, I'd like to be a buyer. It opens up the standard order ticket. From here, I can simply choose to enter the size I'd like, as well as adjust the price. And I'm going to go ahead and adjust this. Perhaps I think the 46 range is a little too high for this, or I think the market's going to move lower first and then perhaps rebound. I'm going to set a working order. I'm just going to go ahead and place this order. We'll see how that looks on the chart. On the left-hand side, at this strike level, you'll see a gray box. It says +1, which means I'm buying 1, to be above 114.14. If I click on that gray box, I can choose to amend this order. Perhaps I thought, no, you know what, 30 is a better price. I click amend order. If I'd just like to delete it altogether, I just click delete. And we can see that the gray box has disappeared. Let's go in and place an order. I'm just going to place a market order in this case. We want to get right into the market. I'm going to go ahead and click close. So again, I bought one contract, but now we can see the box is red. Currently, I'm at a negative floating profit and loss, showing negative $8. I can see that I'm a buyer at one contract because I have a +1 to be above 114.14. If I'd like to add a working order to this, perhaps since I'm a buyer, if I think the market's going to go up and I want to take profit at a certain level, simply click on the flag representing the position. This is now an open position rather than a working order. It will automatically open up a ticket in the opposite direction. Since I was a buyer, it will open a sell ticket. I'm going to say if the market gets to 80, that's where I want to close out this position. So I adjust it, click place order. Now when I look at the line, I can see that I have an open position of +1 to be above 114.14, meaning one contract buying. I have a working order for -1. That means that I have a working order to sell. Again, if I'd like to adjust this order at all, simply click the box. Maybe I just want to take away that working order. Click delete remainder. And if I'd like to close my position, again, I can just click on that flag. And in this case, I'm going to go back to a market order. I just want to get out where the market's at. I'm going to click place order and close. And we can see that the orders are gone. I have no working orders or open positions. If I minimize the chart and go back to my screen, we can see that the open positions and working orders box are both blank. So I am currently flat on the market. Let's take a look at selling an order. So in this case, we're going to sell. I'm going to do that by selecting the red box, opens up a sell ticket. I'll place a market order, click place order, and close. Now we see again, we have an open position, and we know this because the box has a color. If it's if we get into profit, it will change colors. Right now we're at negative, so it stays red. If it's a working order, it's always gray. This is how I know I have an open position, because I can see a floating profit and loss. I can see that I'm in at one above 114.10. And if I click on that box, perhaps I want to set a take profit order if the market drops down to 40. Simply click place order. Once again, if I'd like to close out my position or delete my working orders, one note I will say, and let me walk through this in sort of a backwards order. If I click on this, let's say I close out my position, click place order, close. I still see that I have a working order. Typically, you may want to close out your working orders before, depending on what's going on in the market though. If the market's really moving against you quickly and you just want to get out, then you may want to close your open position first, but often it's advisable to close out the working order first, just so you don't leave any stragglers. Click Delete Remainder. And once you're done, if you're leaving your platform for the day, you want to always make sure, if you intended to be flat, meaning you have no open positions or working orders, always double check your open position and working orders box to verify that you have no open positions and you don't have any working order that could potentially get filled. Thank you again for joining us on this webinar, and we look forward to hearing your feedback on the new HTML5 charts available on your Nadex trading platform.